All right, in this video we're going to talk a little bit about understanding negative placements. Now, placements are simply just web pages that will be displaying our ads, and we may want to exclude them and add them as negatives for a number of specific reasons that we're going to talk about here today. Now, it's important for you to know, first of all, that placement exclusions have specific rules, right? But before we get into those rules, let's talk about the three types of placements that you may exclude, right? Or three reasons why you may exclude a specific placement. Now, first of all, maybe you have a particular placement that doesn't fit your specific brand. And as an example, perhaps you sell men's shoes and you add a negative placement to a URL you see come into the report that sells to women only or sells women's shoes, right? Why would you want to advertise your business on a site that sells women's shoes if you're selling men's shoes? So that's example one. Example two, maybe there's a placement that's, placements that aren't relevant to your business. And as an example to that, maybe you sell men's shoes and you add negative placements that sell children's clothing. That's just totally outside the scope. Okay, that's irrelevant to your business. And the third reason is you may see some placements that are just having poor performance. So you may be on a men's shoe site with your ads, okay, and you sell men's shoes, right? But you're on a particular placement that it does sell men's shoes, and it's a men's shoe site, but you're not hitting your CPA goals. Your CPA can come in way high or just no sales at all. So you basically determine that that placement just does not work for you, and you add it as a negative placement, okay? Now, before you start adding negative placements, you have to be very, very careful, because you could add a placement as a negative in the wrong way and totally lose all the traffic on a placement if you do it without understanding exactly what the format is and how it works, okay? So you ask yourself, what is the format? Well, let's take a look at the first format here. If you put in url.com as a negative placement, that's going to exclude your ads from showing anywhere on this URL. Now, as an example of anywhere, here's what I mean, okay? You're not going to show on the main www.url.com or any page on that site, any subdomains, any subfolders, or actually it's not a subfolder, but any folders, any individual pages inside the folder, or any subdomains. So I'm talking this will exclude your placement anywhere on this specific URL itself, okay? Now, if you put in www.url.com, okay, your ads won't appear on any page under the www.url.com umbrella. And by that I mean subdomains and like www1.url or subdomain.url.com. Those are open season, okay? So you won't show on anything that starts with www.url.com, but it's open season for anything if they have a subdomain or multiple subdomains, okay? Now, the third one is if you put in, let's say there's a specific subdomain that's not performing well, you could put in the subdomain.url.com. Now, what this means is your ads won't show on this particular subdomain, but you will show anywhere else. So you will show on the www.url.com /folder page.html, anything, as long as it doesn't have that specific subdomain in it, you will show, okay? Now, what about another one? Another one would be www.url.com /folder. Okay, in this specific example, you can see that you will not show anywhere inside that particular folder. So your ads won't appear inside the folder, as an example, on any page within, such as /folder /page.html, but you can show anywhere else. Now, as an example, let's say there's a generic shoe site. You're selling men's shoes, and you put in www.shoes.com /women's, right? Now you can exclude, and you won't show and exclude and not show anywhere inside the women's folder. That's a perfect example, okay? But you'll show everywhere else, but not inside that women's folder, okay? Another example would be if you put in url.com /folder, okay, your ads won't show inside this folder, which means the second folder, such as /folder page.html, but you can show anywhere else, like say pages inside the first folder, okay? So just because you put in /folder doesn't mean that the first folder is included in that umbrella. It absolutely is not in that umbrella, okay? You will show in individual pages inside that folder, okay? And the last example here I want to show is you can exclude, let's say you just, because there's a lot of sites that give a ton of traffic to the home page, and the home pages of sites typically, I'm not going to say everyone, but typically probably don't convert that well, right? You want to be on those interior pages with articles and just great content that your whatever you're selling matches, because a home page is typically a little bit of everything, right? It isn't very laser targeted. You can try to figure out, you know, what are they using for their main page naming convention? Is it index.html, index.php? But you can exclude the individual home page like this. But further than that, you can exclude individual pages as well. So let's say there's a url.com, or we'll take the shoes for instance. Let's say there's just a men's article, right? Say the site's converting well everybody else, but you notice this one particular page / men's shoes this year, best men's shoes this year.html is not working well. Well, you can take that and just exclude that one URL, so you're not excluding the entire placement, okay? And like I said, your ads will not show, excuse me, on this individual page, but eligible to show on any other page, okay? Now let's see how we can add a negative placement. All right, in this section of the video, I want to show you where you can actually pluck your negative placements out and find those placements that just are not working for you, okay? You just simply go into a specific campaign, click on the Display Network tab, and Placements, and then set your date range to what you want, like, you know, a week, a month, whatever, however far you want to go back, and lo and behold, up comes the placements, okay? Now let's take a look first of all at just a couple of these placements that came into this specific account here. And just for, you know, the sake of this video, let's use like $45 as our cost per conversion you want to hit. And let's just say we've kind of bid to where we feel this is as good as it's going to get and it's just not working, okay? Now first of all, if you take an example here would be, we'll take BuzzVariety, for instance.com here. Let's go ahead and check this box and then click on See Details Selected. Now what's going to happen here is Google's going to go out and they're going to find the individual placements, like the page itself, where these ads show, okay? Now as you can see, there's a couple here that, are pretty high. So now you can exclude them right here in the interface, okay? And I'm just going to show you real quick how to do that. Just go ahead and put a check in the box here. And then just come up here and click on Exclude Placements. And boom, it just basically, this pops up for you to exclude it, okay? And you can exclude for the whole campaign, or you can just click Exclude for Ad Group, okay? It's totally up to you. If you only have a couple of ad groups and say your campaign is like laser targeted toward one specific thing, then obviously you'd want to exclude it for the whole campaign. If you've got, you know, 100 ad groups, then obviously you want to make sure that this is just excluded for the ad group because it may be relevant for your other ad groups. So that's a decision that you'd have to make, right? So let's click on Cancel for a minute. Now, if we were to go back down and find this URL again, we could actually copy this, or we could even go up here and click here, and it would actually download a report, and then we could parse the Excel file, right, and get like the highest CPAs and sort it, so we can just copy it from there. But I'm just going to copy one from here, which I just did. Like, so let's pretend we want to exclude this, and let's go on over to AdWords Editor now, and let's see how we can add it in there. Okay, here we are back in AdWords Editor, and let's say we've pinpointed the URL that's not working well. We want to add it as a negative placement, and I'm just going to use our example campaigns here because it's the same difference either way. So you select the ad group, you go to Placements Negative, and as you can see, here's the nice little place where we can put in our negative placements. So you just simply add negative placement. I'm going to click Ad Group Negative Placement. Then down here, I'm going to paste in the URL, okay, and just click off anywhere, and done. This is now added as a negative placement into the specific ad group, okay? It's really that simple. So just keep in mind those rules that we talked about and how to format these, because if you do it wrong, you could definitely be in some serious hot water when it comes to losing traffic on things that, hey, may very well work for you.